Among the support elements needed are the light mobile printing team with its printing and editorial shelters. Also needed is a radio team to support existing radio stations, particularly in the back country. An audiovisual vehicle will help to increase the effectiveness of face-to-face communications. And a loudspeaker team will support tactical operations. One of the initial steps of the military PsyOps program is directed toward the Hostland military establishment itself. Since the military represents the government to the populace, their actions and attitudes can do much to create a favorable image of that government in the minds of the people. Hostland soldiers are provided with rules of conduct toward civilians and impressed with the importance of observing them. A soldier's attitude goes a long way toward implementing an effective military PsyOps program. Another portion of the PsyOps program, primarily directed toward the civilian population, is concerned with developing national unity. Once the people start to consider themselves as a national group, acceptance of their government tends to increase, thus making penetration by subversives much more difficult. The proper conduct of the individual soldier towards the people is a critical factor in creating this sense of national unity. Touring groups of performers are used to attract attention. They are particularly effective in remote areas. Entertainment or diversion of any kind is eagerly awaited. Entertainment teams like this one attract crowds of people wherever they appear. Controlled interaction can result in group belonging and assist in developing a sense of national unity. A continuing effort is made to link the PsyOps program with progress to help the people help themselves. This makes them see the military and the government as positive images, benevolent symbols, signifying steps toward a better life. The sense of success, the satisfaction of a job finished, these are of major importance. Direct response to community needs is vital. Projects which would be meaningless in terms of local needs should be avoided. For psychological purposes, one finished well is worth far more than an unfinished dam. Throughout these efforts, the PsyOps program keeps the people informed. They are told what is being done. They are told why it is being done. And they are told how it will benefit them. In areas where the insurgent is openly recruiting and receiving aid from the people, an internal security program takes the greatest PsyOps effort. Here the objectives are to sever the link between the insurgent and the civilian population, to detect and neutralize subversive apparatus, and to provide a secure environment. An effective internal security program encompasses roadblocks, curfews, critical supplies such as medicine, money, food, explosives, arms, etc., all of which make the PsyOps effort a little more difficult. Where restrictions are imposed, The people should be made to realize the necessity for them. They must be convinced that these restrictions are only temporary. That as soon as subversive activities are controlled, restrictions will be lifted. Many problems are encountered during the implementation of this type of program. Perishables damaged while held up in roadblocks must be investigated immediately. Curfews can alienate shopkeepers and theater and restaurant owners unless implementation of such measures is planned and announced well in advance. Curfews may also alienate the younger people who use the evening for youth activities. Controls restrict the flow of essential products and goods. Psychologically, the people must be convinced that if it were not for the insurgents, these restrictions would not be necessary, and that when insurgent activities cease, restrictions will be removed. In areas of the country where government troops are battling the subversives, the psychological effort is of a different nature. Here, in addition to directing the psychological effort at the civilians, it now must be addressed to friendly and enemy troops as well. The civilian problems in a combat zone are those of safety, relocation, and medical aid. The PsyOps program supports the effort to get the civilians out of the way of the fighting. If property has been damaged in the fighting, prompt repairs and payment is the prime goal. Medical attention for wounded civilians should be made available to the maximum extent possible. It must be made very obvious to the civilian that his welfare and safety are of great concern to his government, that they are, in fact, the major interest of his government. The complaints of civilians against soldiers are given full attention. Rules of conduct involving actions of soldiers toward civilians are rigidly enforced. The moment the citizen is convinced that his government is there to serve and protect him, he will begin to support and serve his government. The PsyOps effort directed at the guerrilla has one objective: to demoralize him and to motivate him to defect. By leaflet, by loudspeaker, by radio, by whatever means possible, PsyOps reaches his ears and eyes, stressing the futility of his present, offering hope for his future if he defects. With the PsyOps program underway, it becomes necessary to evaluate its effectiveness. Improvements and changes must be continually made based on the evaluations of current intelligence. Prisoners are interrogated with special questionnaires that give clues toward their reaction to the psychological effort directed toward them. Regular tours of the country afford PsyOps officers a means of direct evaluation. Interception and analysis of enemy messages and radio and TV broadcasts provides another useful measure of the effectiveness of the PsyOps program. Feedback information from the field is used as a basis for continual changes. For for the psychological program must be constantly updated. As the people are affected by the program, so the program is affected by their changes in attitudes. A successful PsyOps program will make them perceive things from the desired viewpoint. You are looking at the most important man in the world. In America, he is called John Doe. Other countries have other names for him. He is the man without a face. Every man, the average citizen. The man who totals 1 billion when added to all his counterparts all over the world. In the final analysis, he will decide the future of the world. Because his importance is clearly recognized by forces that seek world domination, his mind has become a target. When he pledges his allegiance, when he decides in which direction he should project his loyalty, the issue in Hostland and many real countries in the world today will have been largely resolved. Inevitably, the moment of decision will come. And at such moments, what thoughts will pass through his mind? What images will he see? What factors will push him in one direction or another? What decision has he made? Who can say with certainty? But given an effective, comprehensive psychological operations campaign as part of the background, we could logically make an optimistic forecast.